Our parish has lots of hidden places. This one is particularly fruitful and beautiful. It's a little back garden that belongs to the Reverend Jenny Williams, and her husband Jenny is a member of MUC and works as the chaplain to the Christian Fellowship of Healing. I asked Jenny what she thought about miracles, particularly the miracle of the loaves and the fishes that we're going to be talking about this Sunday.
That Jesus' connection with nature was very deep. Whether we mean human nature or whether you then interpret that things were just basically shared, or whether we think something out of the ordinary happened. That sense that Jesus was there at the beginning of all things, whatever it means to say that. I mean, one aspect is that we have this very strong doctrine that's there at the beginning of Colossians, that he was there at the beginning of time, whatever we mean by that. And making all before all things were made. Mm-hmm. So he is part of the making process. But also he seemed to take, the kind of Duns Scotus thing is that God has left us two means of knowing him. One is Scripture and the other is nature.
Loaves and Fishes. Actually, this is the only miracle story of Jesus that's told in all four Gospels, which says something about how important the early Christians felt that it was and what it told them about Jesus. Andrew, our very own patron saint, looms large in the story. In the Orthodox tradition, he is called Protocletus, or the first called, and so he was. Remember, it was Andrew who brought Peter, his brother, to Jesus. Peter, remember, who became the rock on which Christ would build his church. Andrew, from the very first moment, is established in our minds as an enabler, an introducer, a facilitator, a networker. When Greeks want to see Jesus, they speak to Philip. What does Philip do? He comes and finds Andrew. Andrew has to broker the introduction to Jesus. He brings Peter, he brings Greeks, and here he brings a wee boy. Philip looks at the crowd and says 6 months' wages wouldn't feed them. And Andrew says, Jesus, there's a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. The relationship between church and world is and always has been finely balanced. At one level, the church needs to have compassion, need-driven responses. Hungry crowd, feed them. That's what the church at its best has done for 20 centuries. But at the heart of the evangelical commitment, all the value-driven work, all the missionary enterprise that all this suggests, there is someone who knows something quite deep, quite visceral, and that is that nothing happens unless you connect to Jesus. That's Andrew's gift, to see that only in relationship with Jesus will the miracle happen. So what is the miracle? Everywhere, always, it's about changed lives.